I came to Schlesinger first for my junior paper, and the junior paper I wrote was about the history of rape trauma research in the 1970s through the 1990s. And so I came to Schlesinger, and that's where I started. And I ended up loving the materials I found here and loving that research so much that I'm now writing my thesis on that subject matter.
So first of all, I think Schlesinger Library is a fantastic place to do research. The collections are really well organized. A lot of it is digitized. The whole staff here is incredibly helpful.
So finding the sort of hidden things that you wouldn't be able to get just by scrolling through an online database, for example, was something really exciting for me about the physical research process.
I think by coming here physically, you get the opportunity to find other archives that are somewhat maybe tangentially related or directly related to the person or topic you're dealing with.
The original paper, and you can smell and feel how old it is, and how, someone held this in 1912 when it was first printed.
You can see really on scale, how small is it? How big is it? What does their handwriting look like? You can see the condition of the paper. Was this letter folded and refolded? Or was it, just kept really flat? Did someone treasure it in a way? Or was it something that was used?
You can read a lot of secondary sources and hear about the history of what was happening at the time. But it's another thing listening to the voices of the people who were on the ground and seeing what they were going through at the time.
I wanted students to encounter this initially, to just make sense of what's there, to sit with it, to reflect, to not have any sort of expectations set on what they would discover, and allow them to have time to do that and then figure out through that first encounter what they wanted to come back to.
The research done here at Schlesinger completely changed exactly what I want to do with history of science. So I do plan to go to graduate school for history of science. Schlesinger sort of helped me, find the specifics that I was excited about that made me want to do that.
I'm in social work school now, and I still have a huge passion for archival research that totally started here. So I think actually one of the biggest takeaways for me from the Schlesinger is an understanding of how to do archival research, how to know what to ask for, how to know how to find things, all of the really basic skills that I felt like I was able to gain, develop, ask a lot of questions about, thanks to the support from librarians here.
I think a lot of times in college, people talk about papers like it's just kind of like a glorified book report. I would sum up about 10 ideas that I read in various journals and try to put my own spin on it, but it wasn't like I was doing my own data collection. I wasn't reading actual archives or looking at pictures and making my own thoughts. So doing my own research, connecting the dots by myself was something that I haven't done before, and it was just really interesting to be able to do that on my own and to feel like I produced my own work with the things that are available here.
If we tried to have a conversation about what happened yesterday, many of us would not agree. So the mistake that students often bring to the classroom is they flatten out the complexity of the past. They miss the texture, they miss the contestation, and therefore they miss the ability to interpret multiple phenomena.
Students in history classes have a reflex where they describe what has happened in the past in a sort of impersonal third person. It says what happened in 1968. It says that there was violence at the Democratic Convention. Well, who says and how do they know? What do we know and how do we know it? These are crucial questions in any range of disciplines, and we have the materials to support students' original answers to those questions.
What I've learned, it's completely changed my approach to the way I do a project or I do an essay. I always first look for some facts, and then I always want to make sure that I understand how people were feeling at this time period. You learn a lot from different secondary sources. You hear a lot from different historians. They all have differing opinions. But in order to have a closer connection to these characters in history, it's best to see history through their eyes. And these images, diaries, correspondences help me do that.